I met an individual when I was about 12 who was running a huge school, about 300 people deep. He was a 7th degree black belt, and he was like, this is all I've ever wanted to do. I was like, well, you can do that? That's a thing? That's a job? That's a lucrative career? Now, this was a very large African-American man from Virginia, and I had no idea that that would be something that I could inevitably do. And maybe it would be something that I would love to do for the rest of my life. But I had no business running a small business. You see, my sister, who was the most highly educated person in our family, had left and gone in to pursue an English literature career. And when it came to my time to go to university as a second-generation Canadian, I had no idea about the influence that would happen after the fact. I said, I don't know what to do. I just know that it's really important, Mom and Dad, so tell me what I'm supposed to do. She said, well, maybe you should get into English literature. I was like, I have no idea what that is. She's like, well, it has to do with English, and you're very good at speaking, so that might be a good opportunity for you. And at the time, I was already in a heavy metal band. Yes, that is true. My second most lucrative career at the time was to be in a heavy metal band from Canada. So I decided to double down on both of those things. I was going to be a heavy metal band Canadian individual in university while at the same time trying to be a budding entrepreneur developing a martial arts business. Say that back to yourself a bunch of times and decide if that's a lucrative career for your son or daughter. It isn't. But it was the two things that I was the most passionate about in my entire life. Martial arts and music. And one of the things that I had recognized very quickly is that there was a transferable skill between being a people person and developing a dojo and also being a teacher. In 2009, I accepted a job at the Halton Catholic District School Board as an English teacher. I started teaching English and drama and so on and so forth, while at the same time trying to develop what I considered at the time my calling. I was going to be a martial arts instructor, and I had no idea what that would entail. I just had an idea that that would be something that I would love. You see, people told me that you should build your life around your passions, and I had done that, and I was very broke at every single moment of every single time. But I was willing to double down in the sense that, well, maybe it'll pan out. It has never panned out financially, just so you know. Every once in a while, I get a 39-cent check from Finland for a song that I had done several years ago. It is not nearly enough to pad any of the educational systems I've set up for my children, but it's still a paycheck, I suppose. So in 2013, I decided I was going to start my dojo, and I was going to hold an open house and so on and so forth. Now, this was in the middle of a snowstorm, and 12 people came. 11 of those people were my family members. 6 of those people were my friends who decided that they were going to stick by me. Most of them are in this row right here. I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I knew that I was dying to give my passion to people. I think that that's a really important thing for us to acknowledge, is that you need to understand that there are people in your community that are dying to give you their passion. And I once came upon a quote that really stuck with me. You know, the secret of life is to find your passion, and the purpose of it is to give it away. So when I was 9 years old, with estranged from my father, I found an individual to give me power. I took that, and I gave it to everybody else. And on that day in December, I talked to 6 people. And then in January, I talked to 12. And then 6 years later, I've talked to 160 of us at Ferraro Karate and Martial Arts every Tuesday through whatever, every evening. And that's not a plug. That's some hard work from somebody who decided that he was going to double down on his passion and he was going to give what he wanted to give to the rest of his community, because I knew a lot of things. I knew from the barber chair of my mother's father on Speedville and Stevenson that it came to knowing people, that it came to talking to them, that it came to knowing their story, that it came to knowing their name. I knew from my father's insurance office on Carden Street that it was about shaking a man's hand, looking him in the eye, and telling them about what it is they needed to hear. I knew from the classroom that it was important to make every single kid feel like a champion in every single minute of their life. And I knew that because I came from a broken home. And my mother, who's in the room tonight, often shades away, but let's just paint it like it is. In the 18 years that I had started in this life, you and my father had broken up 5 times. And you had gotten together 4. And I thank you for every minute. But at the same time, I respect you for every second. It's difficult for someone to hold a family together when they recognize that staying together is going to be worse than tearing it apart. And she did what she could to give me somebody else to take the reins of what it was going to be for me to be a man. I have followed a direction for a really long time. And I followed your direction for forever. But there are so many things that are the most important. Number 1, to know yourself and to own your crap. That's something you've told me since day one. This is something that I tell all of my students from the high school level to the dojo level. Number 2, be a part of a family and to enjoy that and to honor that. That's something that we all should recognize every second of every day, that we're a part of a community, whether we like it or not. You might be brought into one, you might be the starting of one, but whether you like it or not, these are people that are relying on you. And third, never say whoa in a bad spot. This is something my father used to tell me from day one. Boy, never say whoa in a bad spot. And I was like, well, I have no idea what that means until you get in those bad spots and you're like, whoa. You're like, oh no. And you have to keep going. Ladies and gentlemen, the most important people in your life are always going to be the people that tell you that you can't do anything, that you shouldn't try. And the second most important people in your life are going to be the people that say, don't listen to them and do exactly that. My mother was the person who told me that I should have always been a karate teacher. I should have always been a mentor. I should have always been a leader. I should have always been that person that brought that forward. And it takes a lot to believe in yourself when everyone else is doubling down on you about their problems. I've got this, I've got that, I 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 got that. And then every once in a while I call my mother and I tell her these things and she says, yeah, but they don't own those people. They don't know those people. They know you. So at the end of the day, I am privileged to be a part of this community. I am privileged to be a part of everything bigger that we are trying to build here in the Royal City. I am privileged because I am part of this. I'm a part of this immigrant story, and I'll never stop driving that. I started a third-year generation in this downtown core because my father had a business down here, and my grandfather had a business down here, and I'm not leaving. No matter what anybody tells us about the downtown is central to everybody. Everybody can get here in 10 minutes, which means it's for everybody. I'm not leaving. It was important for me to build my business here, and I will always build my business here. I have no business running a small business. I'm educated in English literature, drama, and theology. But if there's one thing I know, it's I know people. I know people from my backstory. I know people from my father's backstory. And I know people in my own life. So maybe I don't have a business running small business when it comes to numbers, but I have a business running small business when it comes to people. And we need some more of that in this community. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my 10 minutes.